What's up guys, welcome back. TCG Metagame breakdown for half of February 2019. The Salamangreat structure deck has been released finally in the TCG, so let's take a look at how much of an impact had the structure deck since we've had a couple of bigger tournaments from past weekend here in the TCG. You know, deck lists have been spreading all over Facebook past couple of days, so let's take a look how much of an impact Salamangreat had in their first weekend. And of course, how much of, you know, these results will impact our deck choices for the upcoming YCS here in Europe, being YCS Dusseldorf this upcoming weekend, by the way. So definitely stay tuned for profiles, right? We'll start off with the first one, also the tournament that posted most lists on Facebook, and that's the ARG Las Vegas from past weekend. Quite diverse, but the first thing that caught my attention was a Salamangreat 6 decks, like a third of the top cut, about 33% of the decks, well 30% of the decks were Salamangreat, so it's only 6 decks, then again first weekend, so it's quite early, followed by Thunder Dragons, Guard Dragons, Sky Strikers as well. Quite underwhelming, since if you look at our TCG ban list, our most recent TCG ban list, both Sky Strikers and other guys were unhindered, right? And seeing Sky Strikers do this terrible, it has been a long time. Anyway, Trickstars, and then you know the good old one-offs like Orcust, ABCs and Pendulum, good stuff. As for the list, the winner first of all, the winner of the ARG Las Vegas, his name Francesco Alcavas, again my apologies if I mispronounce the name, but the first place list, the first thing that caught my attention was a huge amount of hand traps, and from all the lists that I have been, that I have seen from past weekend, is this particular list was main necking the most hand traps. Triple Ash Blossom, Triple Draw, Triple Veil and Triple Phantasme. Also that a new hand trap, I can't really call it a maxi, but the card is like, people prefer it main deck or people prefer it in a side deck. It's quite of a semi-staple in most side decks, especially for Salamangreat here, but there are definitely a couple of top lists that are preferring it in a main deck. So very interested to see how much of an impact, or people still prefer Phantasma here in the main deck. Of course, very solid against link decks, and of course giving you more chances of drawing into your hand traps. He's running double Desires in the main deck. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan of Desires, but still getting 2 free cards after your combo, for example, is quite intriguing. This is also one of the lists that is not running too many traps. Other lists that I have seen running like full copies of like the Solar Brigade, of Impermanence as well. We've seen a trap trick build, as you will see in a couple of moments, but this list only choosing to run 5 traps. So again, quite interesting to see how this is going to impact Dusseldorf. Again, players preferring running more traps, like 11 traps I've seen, or less traps, like 4 or 5. But yeah, then you need to run a lot of hand traps, as we are seeing here in this first place list. Again, let's just look at the other deck list. This particular list was first place after Swiss, again before the top cut, the top 16 cut, and this was quite interesting, running the Artifact engine, quite similar to the second place deck list, as you see. Well, second place after Swiss, I have to say, is running the full engine, the full engine of Triple Sanctum and Artifact Sight. Again, very intriguing. It's quite of a dangerous risk, or quite of risky, you know, of drawing it to sides, but still, in this particular list, the first place list after Swiss opted to run the Trap Trick engine in the main deck, and basically every other trap at least at 2 copies, so making them searchable. But I guess, you know, searching out your Artifact Sanctum against your opponent's Salamangreat deck to basically put them 1 turn behind is most of the time the extra turn you need to basically let your opponent enter the scoop phase, I guess. I mean, well, just like Dimensional Barrier, put them it's basically Dimensional Barrier, just put them 1 turn behind. So attacking the Artifact engine proved to be quite good, but sadly this particular list, Walter Jewel, did not win the event eventually. But first place after Swiss is again quite strong and quite intriguing. So as I mentioned before, the second place list also opted, well, after Swiss again, also opted to run the Sanctums as well, but not a Trap Trick engine. So only 1 Artifact Sight in the main deck, a lot of hand traps, Triple Ash Blossom, Triple Drawn Lockbird and Triple Effect Failure seems to be the quite of a common hand trap list. Again, very important if you're going to YCS Dusseldorf, although this list opted to run Call by the Grave in the main deck, and also the fusion spell, the Salamangreat super polymerization, I guess. I mean, if you look at the OCG lists, most OCG players, I'm looking at the most, or at least more recent list from past weekends, is that most OCG players don't run the fusion Salamangreat, well, their polymerization / super polymerization card. Basically a brick card, I guess, but still, it's one of those cards that maybe players are not expecting you to play it, or decking it in the main deck, and then bam, you can steal like a game, go for the OTK or something like that. So very crucial in the mirror match. Again, it depends on your expectations for the YCS Dusseldorf, but with these results from past weekend, Salamangreat did very well, very good for their first weekend. So I think Salamangreat in the first weekend should be the deck with the biggest win expectation for the upcoming European YCS, so definitely be prepared for that particular list. So Salamangreat, and then we have another Salamangreat list, a third place list. He's also running to opt, what is it called, the backup secretary, I believe it's, yeah, her name is, but outside of that, a little more traps, a little less hand traps. That's basically it, right? You have the staple main core of Salamangreats, and yeah, then we have like a sum of a variation of the traps, small Solemn Brigade, the impermanence as well in the main deck, but that's basically it, right? There was just not too much, or not too many differences between the other lists. And then finally saw something different. We see Thunder Dragon, as you know here. Only 3 Thunder Dragon lists were managed or were able to top. I believe this list is very similar to Aaron Furman's list. I think so. Full-on danger with Collapse Serpent, the small dragon engine as well, and only running the Allure in the main deck. Gold Zarg, of course, but this is one of those decks that before the Salamangreat structure deck was, I believe, one of the best decks, if not the best deck. Danger, Thunder Dragon, superb deck, but now with Salamangreat's release, so Danger Thunder Dragons might be more popular over here in Europe than it is in the States, right? Then 5th place after Swiss, very similar, but yeah, this Alex build, by the way, based Lolly, you know him, right? A very familiar or very well-known player in our community. First one, the first Sky Striker here again. There were only 2 in the top 16 cutoff, so a little bit underwhelming, right? Again, how much is this going to impact YCS Dusseldorf this weekend? Sky Strikers were the deck to beat previously, but now with the Salamangreat structure deck released, ooh, they have a new competitor. Sky Strikers, or at least have they been power creeped or power crept? It feels like that, but don't count them out, right? Running a lot of hand traps, by the way, here in the main deck. And then Pendulum Magicians, more about Pendulum Magicians really soon, but this Pendulum Magician ended up 7th place after Swiss, so before the top 16 cutoff. Very straightforward, I guess, running the level 4 Magician Tuner. And I'm not talking about Harmonizing Magician, running the double Amorphage slot here in the upper left corner. Quite interesting, blocking the extra deck summons. But outside of that, I think a very standard Pendulum Magician list, right? Very interesting. Again, Pendulums isn't really that popular over here in Europe, I feel. But there's, like, from past YCS, is always like 1 Pendulum player or maybe 2 Pendulum players, Pendulum Magician players, sneaking into the top 16 cutoff. Orcus as well, it's doing fine, but it's of course missing their power cards coming out, or yeah, coming out really soon in the TCG. Trickstars as well, going second. Trickstars evenly matched in the main deck. Super Poly as well. The Pot of Extravaganza, that quite an expensive card, but still I believe only like 1 or 2 Trickstars. It's not that hard of a deck, but yeah, okay, quite interesting, I guess. Then you go to the PPG Tour Pro Play Games. The winner was Jeremy Mitchell. Can we call him a Pendulum God? That's, what you're reading online. I think it's a very standard, I think so, a very standard Pendulum Magician list. But I mean, if you have seen the finals, it's up on YouTube, I think, or up on Twitch. Opening with Pendulum Call, and the Darkworm is of course super strong. And again, a very straightforward Pendulum Magician list, only running the triple Troll and Lockbird as a hand trap in the main deck. But of course you're playing Pendulum, so you can't risk of running too many hand traps in the main deck, I guess. But congrats to him. This is definitely going to have an impact on our YCS. A couple of other lists as well. We are seeing Salamangreat's first place at an Ecuadorian regionals, you know, in Ecuador of course, but outside of that running a little more traps, and yeah, we see the Veiler again, the Ghost Ogre for the first time I think, triple Ash Blossom, again very staple, running triple Twin Twister also in the main deck, same for the Fusion by the way. This was, yeah, I guess Sky Striker, nothing too special I guess, first place of World Championship qualifier in Iraq, Chester Hansen I believe the name is, first place Salamangreat list, running the Super Polymerization in the main deck and also the themed Salamangreat Fusion spell card. Very intriguing, is also running the Psychic Wielder engine. Very interesting. Personally, I haven't been testing it out, but it's something to, you know, definitely expect for YCS Dusseldorf as well, boosting up those rank 3 Exceed plays for example. We see Necros, I think that it's, you know, with triple Brio neck back, it's not doing anything, quite sadly, since it's a very fun deck, opting to play 40 cards here in the main deck, going, you know, 2 on every Necros Fusion, at least yeah, every Necros Ritual spell card, double evenly matched of course in the main deck, but triple Brio neck is sadly not enough for this particular deck. Then we see, yeah, again, first place Altergeist somewhat fading away, although again, Altergeist is one of those decks that's like quite popular over here in Europe, so definitely don't count it out for YCS Dusseldorf. And then one of the last lists, again we see a Danger Thunder Dragon list, yeah, with Light of Sega as well. And then again, as last, we see another Salamangreat first place list by the way, with Peacock here in the upper right corner, a little less hand traps compared to previous lists, but like 11 traps? A lot of traps, Salamangreat Impermanence as well, and going double on both the Salamangreat traps, so quite interesting, right? But again, it's you know, even though this was only the first weekend of Salamangreats being released in the TCG, they definitely put their mark on the format, and it's going to have a huge impact on our upcoming YCS Dusseldorf in Europe, so definitely be prepared for the deck. But yeah, it's still some changes might be coming up, right? Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.